The Wave XLR really is the best of Elgato. It's simple, straightforward, and incredibly effective. Good afternoon and welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety of Wooks Triple XL. And I've been playing with the Go XLR for a little bit longer than a week. And it's been a very good week with it, honestly. It's very simple and straightforward. And like I said, incredibly effective because of it. It's got all of the complications and stuff you want in the right sort of places. Complications, I'll say, but complexities of function is really what they've done and made it in the simplest interface one could possibly hope for. So, without further ado, let's go through what's in the box. Well, you get obviously the Go XLR unit itself, and you get this very beefy USB cable with a lot of memory. It's gonna, not really conform to your desk space very well because it is super thick. And oddly, it's just a USB 2. This doesn't even run off USB 3, which is kind of hilarious. It's something that I've consistently noted since Linus sort of tore the band-aid off my eyes on that one. You have two extra pins usually on the bottom front over here, but it is a USB 3. So this is just a USB 2 Type-C. Nothing fancy, it's just a mean cable. The device now itself, the physical setup of it is very nice. I especially love the massive volume knob in the middle. It's absolutely fantastic. It's super easy to use. It's nice and big, and it just feels fantastic as well. It's got, you can feel it inside. It's got like a little, you can hear it. It's actually got like little fingers inside that you can feel each pip on it. So that's nice. The LED as well lights up appropriately to the volume level depending on what you're using. You've got your input for your mic volume, your headset volume, which you can monitor directly from here, and then your crossover volume as well, which is the crossover between your monitoring and your live output lines, so that you can hear both if you need to make sure your mic is on lossless as well, which is very nice to have, that it is immediate, lossless sort of quality, because it's nothing worse than when your voice has a bit of delay and you're trying to monitor it back. It's very bewildering. I can't speak through that, to be very honest with you. On the bottom left, however, you'll see a 48 volt, and that is for phantom power, so that if you have a condenser microphone that you need some power on, then you'll be able to power it perfectly fine from this device. So even devices like Shure SM7B and stuff that have very high impedances and need a lot of gain, this has 75 dBs worth of lossless gain built into it. So you're going to have no feedback or static and stuff on your microphone, so obviously not ruin the experience for your viewers. Around the back, there's some pretty cool and interesting things, including a capacitive mute button. They wanted to make sure that it would go on and off without a clicking or audio sound, so they went with a capacitive touch panel on the top over there. Your XLR input, your headphone input, which is on a 3.5mm jack, and then that Type-C input over there. Nicely rubberized base as well. It's got your serial number and everything protected in there, so if you do need to go for warranty, then you're not going to be hunting for your box if you do misplace it. I do, however, suggest, especially in South Africa, for the first 6 months of owning a product, you definitely want to hold on to the packaging, because if you can return it with the packaging, most of the time the people or whoever you're returning to will actually give you a swap out. That's a Turbo Tortoise top tip right over there. So that's the Wave XLR itself. It's just a very conveniently set up and well-built box with very few mold seams, which is something I'm a big fan of. It just makes the product feel a lot better in general in quality. So now we get over to the entire purpose of this, which is to be able to use the Wave audio and Wave Link software, which is where you do all of your balancing. So let's jump over to the PC and show you that. And here we are with the Wave Link software, and this is pretty much the value in the product. It's what makes it special and differentiates it from its competitors is your ability to manage up to 8 different sources. I mean, I can keep adding here if I wanted to, like just as an example, we'll just add in 2 aux channels, and then say if SFX, if we wanted to, for instance, you can manage an incredible amount of inputs here, and then have all of that going through one input, all balanced individually. You can have balancing versus monitoring, and then effects and filters on every single input. So concentrating on the mic, I've already done a couple of things. I've put a noise gate on it so that it won't bring through, for instance, if I go to settings over here, it has its own little control panel, and then I can add more noise gate or less noise gate. So I can completely cut off the ambient sounds is the idea here. And you cannot hear anything. But if I completely drop that, then you'll hear a bit of a hum. Well, maybe you won't, because
I'm actually putting this through in video control broadcast as well to show you that you can actually multi-layer it. You can filter into filter, which is kind of sick that you're going to be able to do that. There's a bunch of free filters and VSTs and stuff which you can find on the website, and then adding them is literally as easy as just going into a drop down, picking what you kind of want to see, like say an EQ for instance, and then it'll open up the appropriate panel for your whatever you've added, whichever VST, and then you can just monitor and change and stuff from there. So like my voice is incredibly low shelf, it's very deep in general, apparently according to this waveform pattern. I speak mostly in the 200 to 300 hertz range, so yeah, you can see the amount of detail and stuff you can go into with each plugin. And I mean, there's a slew of free plugins. You can probably get between 20 and 30 absolutely free, and there are a lot of videos and stuff online of people using really good plugins and plugin stacks and stuff with settings, etc., for your environment. So now the one thing though I wanted to be able to test, because I just love in video broadcast, is that I can put it through in video broadcast. So there is a noise removal tool which does work pretty damn well. If I turn it off, if I just remove all of the VSTs over here from the microphone, you'll hear it will sound significantly different. Let me just take all of these off and remove these guys as well, just like that. And now you should be hearing my PC even just slightly. If I clap it next to the microphone, and this is one of the reasons why we love in video broadcast, because with just a click of a button, absolutely nothing coming through. You can see it's hitting the mic. The mic even can show you it's hitting it, but in video broadcast just arrests that clapping on the spot and just says no. So that's why we kind of want this thing in the loop where possible. Also, it's one of the only ways I could find for an echo canceller. There wasn't like any just like default plugins and stuff that I saw had that, which is just a little bit of a irritating one. But there's enough that you can still, with the combination of the two, and at least you can run the one into the other. You can set up a nice little noise gate over there, add in a compressor even. I like the Elgato EQ as well. It's also pretty good. I got to say they did a good job on this, because you can at multiple points have equalizer gain or increase or drop it. It should sound very strange to right now kind of thing as I'm busy doing this and going across the wave. You can see it's pretty damn effective. So there's plenty to do here. This is the point though, is this software just enables you to mix and match and balance whatever you want to do. It's giving you a virtual soundboard that is hardware compliant, or should I say hardware linked. It's actually linked to the Wave XLR and the Wave products. So they took what they did with Wave 3, they created an XLR input so that you could put all the VSTs and stuff on top. Now, this isn't without fault. I actually had a mate who gave me a heads up that he's had some problems when he goes into game. And hilariously, the only game I've had problems with this is Counter-Strike. For some reason, every so often when I launch, it completely maxes the volume on the device. I don't know why it does that, but yeah, your friend suddenly having you at max volume in the ear wasn't very good. Other than that though, I didn't really have an issue. There was a firmware update recently as well, which apparently fixed a lot of the issues. So at this current state and time, at this point of this review, it's in really good working condition. Anyway, that is it for the Wavelink software. Back to the studio.
So the crux of the product really is the Wavelink software and how it then functions with the Wave products, because the Wave 1 and 3 mics were the only ones who had access to that. So people were asking literally in their comments, can you bring this to an XLR format so that I can use it with my microphone? And that's exactly what they've done. Now, the very best VSTs are obviously paid for, but there's tons of videos across the internet where you can go and have a look at them and see how they work before you buy. So a nice little try before you buy, plus a huge amount of setup videos and configuration videos and stuff for a product like this, because obviously a lot of streamers are going to be getting this because it's a lot easier to use than a lot of the competitors. One thing I do like about the Go XLR Mini, really the main competitor, is the built-in functions of it on the actual device for you to monitor and or level different audio inputs like your Discord and your Spotty and all the rest of it. That you can do that on the fly on that deck visually as well is kind of a nice touch to have. And considering that Elgato is like the visual learning kings with the Stream Deck, I can't help but feel the next version of this should maybe include something like that. Elgato, please, that would be super cool. That's the last thing you could do is have maybe another LED at the bottom and maybe a small screen at the top if you open it up a little bit, and then it could show me the icon for the for the source that I'm trying to level inside of the Wavelength software. If I could have that visually on here and not have to alt tab and go to the software to do it, that would be sick. That would be like the last little checkbox, I think. And then this would be, I think, then unequivocally the best product to do this. And it would put a nice big jab in the eye of your competition. So we hope that you do that next time. Anywho, for the viewers that have been watching this, thank you so much for spending your time with me here. And if you have enjoyed this review, please hit us up with a like and subscribe. And I will see you on the flip side.
Will you be my ride